Hello, SLAPAFISH community, and welcome back to No World Tanks Conservation. So in this video, I'm going to be comparing the three brand new Halloween tanks, the Arachnid, the Asterion, and the Death Chariot. So I'm going to be comparing the stats, not really comparing the stats from the Asterion to the Arachnid to the Death Chariot, but going over the stats to see, and their playstyle, to see which tank is the best for you. Like, if you could only pick one tank, which one would it be? So, that's my job, to figure out which one it would be for you. So, lay it all out. So, the Arachnid is a two-shot autoloader American medium tank that loves to go hold down and play with that two-shot gun. Hold down, blasting shots with its turret as long as it doesn't meet tier 9 and tier 10 tank destroyers, and it just clips out people with its 320 per shot per gun with its two shot at 640 damage per clip. Now the Asterion, it's a slow heavy tank that loves to brawl and go hold down and like to hide its hull armor, especially its upper hull armor where it's not covered by the shovel. It can use its gun duration and just go hold down and pretty much be indestructible as long as it does not meet high penetration guns. Then when you do, you can go side scraping. Now the Death Chariot is basically like a 112. You ever play a 112? This is a 112 that can meet tier 10s. Now this tank, quite mobile, decent armor, but its real thing about the tank is its gun. It has a 460 alpha gun. Basically, you can trade shots with people and just always out-trade them, because it does 460 damage per shot. So with that overview done, let's just go over the stats of this tank. This tanks. Also, consider subscribing because it's free and it helps out the channel a ton. So, let's go over the DPM of the tanks. Now, the Arachnid has the highest DPM at 2,195. Not really surprising because it is a tier 9. And also, you'll be seeing like green boxes and like not boxes, like green boxes. Now, this is just comparing the Asterion to the Death Chariot because they're both tier 8s and they're both heavy tanks. It's not comparing to the Arachnid because it's a tier 9 medium. And I was like, if you only wanted a tier 8 premium heavy tank, I was like, okay, let's just do that. So that's what those boxes mean. The penetration is the best at 238 on standard on the Arachnid and 280, which it's decent. The penetration is decent at 280. It won't be going through type 4s or type 5s or even 100s. You'll be struggling. But the penetration on the other tanks, like all three tanks have okay penetrations for their tiers. Now, like I said, the Death Chariot has a 460 alpha, which is always really nice compared to 360 to the Asterion. Now, the Asterion actually has both of the Asterion and the Death Chariot actually has terrible accuracy. If I can scroll all the way down here, it's 0.42 and 0.4 with an aim time of nearly both identical. But the Asterion does 100 damage less than the Death Chariot. So that does really suck. Now, let's go back up here. And the rate of fires are, yeah, as you can see. Now, like I said, the Arachnid has a two-shot autoloader, 640 damage per shot, and an enter clip rate of 2.5 seconds. The ammo is AP, heat, and high explosive for the Death Chariot and the Arachnid, and the Asterion has an AP, APCR, and high explosives. Now, I don't actually know the caliber of the guns for all three tanks, so that's one of the question marks, because it doesn't actually list it in game. So I was like, okay, let's go find the gun caliber of the tank it's based off. So for the Arachnid, I went for the AE Phase 1, which has a 120mm gun. For the Asterion, I went for the Ramatop, the Rampanzer 48, which is a 90mm gun, and for the Death Chariot, I went for a 122mm gun, which the 112 has. Martial damage, I thought this was interesting. But the Asterion and the Arachnid has the same marginal damage. So it's easier to actually Amarak and damage people with the Death Chariot. So also Deadeye would be really nice on the Death Chariot and the Arachnid, because it has a 1-2 punch. Shell Velocity. The Shell Velocity is actually really great on the Arachnid, and the Shell Velocity on the other two tanks, especially when you fire Premium with the Death Chariot, you can definitely feel the slowness of the shells, which also hinders your accuracy of the tank. Ammo capacity is also really great on all three tanks. It is. You could definitely you can load out high exposed, premium, and standard as much as you want to, and probably never run out. Aim time. Like I said before, all three are pretty bad aim time. Accuracy during rotation, they're all very, very similar. And the accuracy, very similar too. Now, turret rotation, since the Arachnid is a medium tank, actually gets the best turret rotation by nearly double. But the Asterion and the Death Chariot has pretty similar turret rotation. The gun depression is actually really good on the Arachnid and the Asterion, but the Death Chariot suffers with its 6 degrees of gun depression. Now let's move on to the mobility. Remember, the Arachnid is a medium tank, so these are pretty much heavy tank stats, or a very, very slow medium tank. Medium-ish heavy tank. Basically what the Arachnid is. Its top speed is 45 forward, 18 reverse, with a power-to-weight ratio of 19.15, which is really good. You may have a terrible top speed, but your horsepower per ton is pretty good for a medium tank. The Asterion and the Death Chariot are very slow. They go 35 forward, 14 reverse, with a terrible horsepower per ton. So power-to-weight powertrain for the Asterion and the Death Chariot, and traction system for the Arachnid. Also, the train resistances are also really terrible on all three tanks, so off-road driving is a must-have. Track traverse is the same for the Death Chariot and the Asterion, and it's a medium tank, so it gets nearly double. Now, I also made videos on each and every single one of the tanks. If you want to go watch those, be my guest. So, let's talk about the armor. Now, the armor is a little bit complicated to talk about because, yeah. So, the Arachnid, let's talk about the whole armor first. The Arachnid's whole armor, it sucks. That's 101 at the front, 43 at the sides, and 38 at the rear. That sucks. The Asterion has actually the best whole armor. It has the best frontal hull armor and the best side armor. Now, if the stats will say. Also, that's supposed to be 152 plus 80. I misclicked and put 82. Oops. But, yeah. Asterion has the best because of how it's shaped. It's a boat shape, so you can side scrape a lot better than you can in the Death Chariot. And the Asterion does have really good hull armor, especially when they shoot through your shovel. Then they hit your hull armor. Like, the 152 is just a little one strip of armor on the hull armor. The hull armor of the Asterion at the front ranges from like 100 to 152 and all different spots, so it's really hard to just put one number. So I just put the 152 plus the 80 that the shovel gives. Now the Death Chariot is 120 out of the front and 100 at the side, but it has 120 also at the side, but more of the side armor is covered by the 100. And with the Arachnid, the side armor is 43, some spots are 152, but they're little. So it was really hard to put an actual number in these spots. So, overall, don't get shot in the side, unless you're side scraping. Don't side scrape in the Arachnid. There you go. Only side scraping these two tanks, the Asterion and the Death Chariot. Never in the Arachnid. Only go hold down. There you go. Turret armor. But all three of these turret armors are really great. until you meet high penetration TDs at tier 9 or tier 10, or any tier 10s that are loading premium as your turret, and they're going to fail. Makes sense when it's a tier 8 going to tier 10 match, until you talk about the Arachnid. I mean, it is a medium tank, so you don't expect turret armor to hold up against high penetration premium rounds, so hit points for the Asterion and the Death Chariot is 1,500, so that's really basic for tier 8 heavy tanks. Arachnid has 1,700. It's still good. Camo for all three of these tanks suck. Arachnid sucks. Asterion sucks. Death Chariot sucks. Fire chance. Alright. The Asterion has pretty good fire chance, and Death Chariot has very good fire chance. The Arachnid has terrible fire chance. Silver. You want silver? Get the Asterion or the Death Chariot. Tank XP, 15 on the Asterion, 10 on the Death Chariot. It's a tier 9 medium tank, premium medium tank for the Arachnid, so no boosters for you. This is normal for tanks. The only tank here that has a commander XP boost is the Death Chariot. View range, you're blind in the Death Chariot and the Asterion, but you can spot really good for yourself in the Arachnid. Signal range, great for the Arachnid and the Asterion. Terrible for the Death Chariot. Now, if you're talking about gold prices, the base gold prices for the Arachnid 17,500, the Asterion is 7,500, and the Death Chariot is 9,800. But they're all on sale for right now. So this is the actual store price if you're buying the cheapest, and if you're buying them separate. So anyway, I hope this helped you pick which tank you want. If it did, remember to like, comment, subscribe. Also remember SLAPAFISH, because while you're out, peace out, see ya.